Good afternoon, participants. With great pleasure, let me introduce today's guest, an ardent technology watcher who is currently working as library manager at St. Stephen's College, Udavur, Kottayam, Kerala. His research interests include education for library and information science, information literacy, digital libraries, etc. Innumerous articles and conferences are there in his credit. He is a member of India Knowledge Collective, Collective for Open Data Distribution Kerala, a Kerala COVID-19 tracker, advisor, Mentally Reference Management Software Elsevier Group, and research team member, Hope Study India. He was a core team member of the project Lifeboat Kerala Flood Rescue 2018. He is the executive editor of the website healthinfonet.in, an initiative for transforming academic libraries into health literacy dissemination centers for public prescriptions to end confusion on health related matters, a fight against medical misinformation and health hoax. Let us check out how a librarian can assist us in solving our research queries. Jasimuddin sir, welcome to the session. Thank you.
Thank you. Good afternoon. I was assigned to take a session on publication ethics. So 2 sessions. So I will be discussing with you about plagiarism in the first session, and in the second session, some other publication misconducts, fabrication, falsification, etc. Okay, I'm sharing the screen. In the first part, I will be dealing with plagiarism, which is a subject that is undergoing tremendous academic discussions nowadays. Actually, plagiarism is a subject or a crime which is a non-bailable offense under Indian Penal Code, IPC. Okay, fine. The definition of plagiarism. Actually, the word plagiarism comes from the Latin word plagiarius, means kidnapper. It is using someone else's words, ideas, or images as your own without proper citation. This is a definition of plagiarism, and this is a scientific misconduct or publication misconduct. These are other definitions of plagiarism. It means the appropriation of another person's ideas, processes, results, or words without giving appropriate credit, or copying the language, structure, ideas and or thoughts of another and adopting the same as one's own original work. Give attention to that. Copying the language, copying the structure, and copying the ideas or thoughts of another person and adopting the same as one's own original work is called plagiarism. So many definitions are there. Then what is this appropriation means? It means using or taking something that is not yours from a published bar unpublished article. And there is a notion that there may be a thinking that if I plagiarize something from an unpublished article, you may not be caught. It is wrong. If you take something from an unpublished article, in future there is a chance for you to getting or to stamped as a plagiarist. Then why plagiarism is considered as dishonest? Just because students, scholars, and faculty members are expected to do their own work. That's the reason. Then ideas, processes, results, or words refer to another person's intellectual property. Breaching the intellectual property is a crime. You can be sued. Then what it means by giving appropriate credit? It refers to providing the name of the original author, artist, researcher, or scholar, then providing sufficient publication data. In this scenario or in this context, the style manuals comes into C, providing sufficient publication data. Style manuals are those documents which documents the rules for proper documentation. Then when you provide sufficient publication data, a reader can find the original source. Then You have to use quotation marks or quotation symbols to indicate direct quotes when you are taking something from some source to your manuscript. Then what is a source? Actually, a source is any text, online, print, broadcast, etc., from which you get information that you use in your writing. That is a source. It can be a website, it can be a newspaper article or a magazine, a journal article, etc., etc. And if you look in APA style manual, you can see more than 80 sources, 80 sources can be seen, and rules for documenting that 80 sources is described in APA style manual. We are aware only about journals, books, conference proceedings, around 10. But in APA style manual, there are more than 80 sources that you can refer. What does citation means? They are the formal methods of acknowledging the use of a creator's work. That is citation. You might have seen, if you follow the APA style manual, you will give the author, date, notation in text, author, comma, year in the text itself, or it is called in text citation, and that is known as citation. When you take something from a source, you refer the surname of the author, the year of publication of that source in parenthesis. That is known as in text citation. Then what is a reference list? A reference list at the end of the paper provides the full information necessary to identify and retrieve each source. It cites works that specifically support a particular article. This is reference list. Reference list is should be alphabetically listed by author's last name and at the end of the paper or presentation. Then what is bibliography? There is a confusion among scholars. Suppose you check a thesis of some universities in Kerala. You may not see end chapter reference because no universities in Kerala have a style manual how a thesis should be written. There is no policies in universities in Kerala. Each research scholar can take or follow their own style manual. So you may not see end chapter references in respective thesis chapters, and you may see in the end of the thesis a bibliography. That means the whole references are clubbed together in the bibliography part. Actually, it is a wrong practice. You should have to give end chapter reference and in the end bibliography. If the first chapter contains 10 in-text citations, the end of the chapter should contain 10 references, 10 bibliographic data. And in the bibliography part, that is the end of the thesis, you can include all the references from each chapter and resources for additional reading. That is bibliography and reference list. One thing when you cite, there is no need to cite a common knowledge. That this slide says, what is a common knowledge? It is a well-known fact. For example, the sun rises in the east. It is a common fact. There is no need to cite it. It is information that is likely to appear in numerous sources and to be familiar to large number of people. This is what is called common knowledge. Some examples are here. Example, India became independent on 50th August 1947. It's a common knowledge. There is no need to cite it. But if you are doing a historical research or you are researching in history domain, if there are different opinions when India got independence, is it on the previous day or on the next day? So in such cases, in such domains, you may have to refer. There will be a requirement for referring something if there is a difference in opinion. Otherwise, there is no need to cite common knowledge. Then Mahatma Gandhi University is located in Priyadarshini Hills. It's a common knowledge. There is no need to cite it. Smoking can cause respiratory diseases such as emphysema and cancer. There is no need to cite it. But see the next example. Smoking accounts for 85% of all emphysema deaths in India. And there is an 85% mentioning, and you have to refer that. From which source you have got that information, you have to refer it. This is difference between common knowledge and items that should be referred. Then a scholar a research scholar, a faculty member, or an academician should know the different types of plagiarism. It's a publication misconduct. So you have to know the different types of plagiarism so that you can avoid such type of plagiarism in your writing. And so many textbooks or reference sources list different types of plagiarism, and I took something from the web, and classification goes in this way. Types of plagiarism of words, and the definition is the use of another's exact words without citing the author. This is what is called plagiarism of words. Then the correct and incorrect ways of writing a sentence or a paragraph is given in the slide. See, incorrect is a definition of plagiarism. Plagiarism is the reproduction of someone else's words, ideas, or findings and presenting them as one's own without proper acknowledgement. It is incorrect and it is plagiarism. How it can be corrected? How it can be written in a correct manner? See, plagiarism is then the quotation mark is given, double quotation mark is given. Reproduction of someone else's words, ideas, or findings and presenting them as one's own without proper acknowledgement. Quotation ends. This is the correct way of writing that sentence in your manuscript. In the first one, the author omitted the quotation mark, so it is plagiarism. And when he documented the quotation mark, it is the correct way. Then plagiarism of structure. See, paraphrasing. Paraphrasing means in Malayalam it is paravartanam. Paraphrasing another's words by changing sentence construction or word choice with citation is not acceptable. This is what we do in our daily life. Paraphrasing another's words by changing sentence structure, sentence construction, or word choice with citation, and it says that it is not acceptable. Then paraphrasing while maintaining original sentence construction from a source and acknowledging the source is also not acceptable. So changing the sentence construction, giving citation is not acceptable. Retaining the original sentence construction and giving the citation, not acceptable. And what is acceptable? You have to read the passage, you have to learn what it means, and you have to retell in your own voice or words is acceptable. So this is plagiarism of structure. Even if it is a single sentence, you have to read it, you have to learn what it means, you have to assimilate the content of what it says, and you have to retell in your own words. Otherwise, it will be considered as plagiarism. And I will show examples later. Even if it is a single sentence, it will be counted as plagiarism if you reproduce as such in your manuscript. Then plagiarism of ideas. It's no need to explain it. For example, E is equal to mc square. It's a definition by Einstein. If you change it in your own language and you are documenting in your manuscript in some other ways or forms, it will be considered as plagiarism. It's a plagiarism of idea. Then plagiarism of authorship. Submitting a paper that you got off from the internet or from a friend and presenting it as your own, A to Z copy. That's plagiarism of authorship or duplicating a work. What is self-plagiarism? For example, suppose I have written something in 2010 and after that I didn't write anything. In 2020, I decided to write something else, which is a continuation of the research which I have done in 2010. Suppose I have taken so many paragraphs, so many sentences from the 2010 paper, and if I do not cite I will be copying enormous amount of item from the 2010 article which I wrote in 2010, and if I publish an article in 2020 which contains enormous amount of text material which appeared in 2010, it will be counted as self-plagiarism. You are not permitted to self-plagiarize. So many examples are there in which the papers were retracted or removed from journal database after publishing because of self-plagiarism. So keep it in your mind that you are not permitted to copy even your own sentences in future articles. That is self-plagiarism. So always be aware of self-plagiarism. Check the authorship guideline or the author guidelines in journals or in publication outlets you are going to submit your manuscript, and check whether self-plagiarism is permitted or not. Otherwise, you will be caught or you will be stamped as a plagiarist. Then Some other types of plagiarism are given below. Wholesale plagiarism, patchwork plagiarism, idea-based, sprinkle, etc. Wholesale plagiarism means copying an entire source or large section of a source and passing it off on work is wholesale plagiarism. Then patchwork plagiarism is common among students, sources, connecting them together and submitting the resulting document as one's own work. Patchwork plagiarism. Then idea-based plagiarism is copying of ideas. Sprinkle plagiarism. Occasional failure to properly through missing information, errors in punctuation, that comes under sprinkle plagiarism. It is often unintentional. അറിയാതെ ചെയ്യുന്ന അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ബോധപൂർവം അല്ലാതെ ചെയ്യുന്ന. It's sprinkle plagiarism. What are the motivations for plagiarism? Conscious plagiarism or intentional plagiarism, then unintentional. What are the motivations? One, say using minimal or careless paraphrasing leads to unintentional plagiarism. Or failing to document properly also comes under unintentional plagiarism. Then quoting excessively, that means there is a limit to quote. Then failing to use your own voice to present information or ideas also comes under unintentional plagiarism. Then intentional is we know copying a friend's work, buying or borrowing purpose. You can buy or borrow purpose from internet.
In between your voice is breaking.
Please let me when the voice breaks, please. Okay. Okay, intentional plagiarism means copying a friend's work, buying or borrowing purpose, cutting and pasting text from sources without giving credit, borrowing media without giving credit. For example, when we write something, we just include some images which we got from internet and we do not give credit to the original source. It comes under intentional plagiarism. Buying or borrowing purpose. You can buy purpose from internet outlets, publication outlets. You can order a paper on cyber crimes. You can order a thesis on cyber crime. You can order anything in internet from different publication outlets, and it comes under plagiarism. Publishing without the permission of original creator is also
sorry, your sound is breaking.
And what are the possible consequences? You are scholarly reputed article not
Voice is breaking.
Do it's for the beginners. Why people plagiarize?
Yes, sir.
Then this could be the reasons. They don't know why it is important to cite their sources. This could be one reason.
Excuse me, sir.
Hello?
Sir?
കേൾക്കാമോ?
കേൾക്കാം, ഇടയ്ക്കിടയ്ക്ക് ബ്രേക്ക് ആവും.
കേൾക്കാമോ?
കേൾക്കാം.
Okay, fine. Sorry for the disturbance, interruption. Why do people plagiarize? They don't know why it is important to cite their sources. That could be one reason. Then lack of confidence in their own ideas and writing abilities may be one reason. They cannot figure out to respond to writing and task. They don't know what a style manual is. Then they have procrastinated too long, waiting till the end of for example, last months of PhD submission, last days of assignment submission, etc. Procrastination. That could be another reason for people to do plagiarism. I will show the examples of plagiarism detection softwares. See, this is the software which is used by many institutions for checking plagiarism. See, I have already checked some papers. See, when you want to check plagiarism, you have to submit file. After submission of the file, a similarity index will be produced. See, for the first one, I'm just clicking it. See, when you scroll down, you can see colored portions. That means these portions are copied from some sources. And this total amount of copied portions will be counted and a similarity index will be produced, that is 9%. That means this paper contains 9% of copied material. This is how plagiarism detectors work. Their algorithm looks for similarities, similar text in papers, and an index will be produced. And this is how plagiarism detectors work. കേൾക്കാൻ പറ്റുന്നുണ്ടോ അപ്പോ?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. And this is a Turnitin software that can be used for checking plagiarism. So many other softwares are also there. One other software is Authenticate, which is highly priced software. Both this Turnitin and Authenticate are by iParadigm company, leading plagiarism detection software producing company. Then the current software which is used by universities in India is Urkund software. The same mechanisms is there in almost all plagiarism detection software. When it's in a paper, in a manuscript, the software will look for similarity, will produce a similarity index. And universities have their PhD regulation that the similarity indexes should be below certain limits. For example, in Kerala universities is 10%, in MG universities 10%, in European universities it's 5%, etc. So keep it in mind that you are not permitted to copy even a single sentence. You can have common knowledge, common symbols, then you are not permitted to copy in a sentence as it's to read. Otherwise, all will be counter this similarity. But for in mathematics thesis, you have to reproduce all the formulas, mathematical equations, etc. There is an option to filter out those items in the end. If you remove manually the solutions, equations, etc. So it can be removed manually from the report. Otherwise, it will some in mathematics thesis. Last day I checked a paper which has got more than 52% similarity. I reproduced or copied so many solutions or equations and it amounted to that higher amount of similarity. In that case, the only thing you can do is can manually remove the similarity percentage in the checking by the who is checking that similarity. So Turnitin, Authenticate, etc. are the softwares which are by institutions to check for plagiarism. And I will show examples. We see this. And this is an example of a retraction notice. Retraction notice means the journal article is removed from the journal database. See, this is appeared in Biotechnology Advances, and the title of the retraction notice is Retraction Notice to Molecular Imprinting in Sol Gel Matrix, and this is from IIT Kanpur. See, why this article was retracted? Just because this article has been retracted at the request of the editor, as the authors have plagiarized. See, part of several papers that have already appeared in several journals. One of the conditions of submission of a paper for publication is that Authors declare explicitly that their work is original and has not appeared in a publication elsewhere. Reuse of any data should be appropriately cited. And this authors, Radhagupta and Ashok Kumar, didn't cite something. For example, see this. See the links are given at the end. Advanced drug reviews, molecular imprinting with hydrogels, then some definitions, some sentences, etc. were not cited, and that's why this article was retracted later after the publication. Just think that it will take at least 1 year or 1.5 years to publish a paper in a good high impact journal, and after publication of that journal, the paper is retracted due to this publication misconduct, that is plagiarism. So keep it in mind that you have to cite all the things.
Screen is dark only. It's not visible.
Hello, sir.
Hello.
Is it okay, or should we share it from our side?
Yeah.
Okay, I will share it now. Is it visible, sir?
Next one. Okay. Intentional plagiarism means buying or copying papers. See the advertisement given. Next slide. Articles, research papers, thesis, dissertation, writing and publication in national, international journal conferences. See the telephone number is given. This is intentional plagiarism. Example of intentional plagiarism. Next one. Okay, this is another example of intentional plagiarism. You can buy papers. All papers are guaranteed 100% original. So this is a classic example of academic fraud. Next one. Then say you can this firm will help you to do everything with related to your research. See stage 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, etc. Stage 5 is very interesting. They will arrange viva was and support. And this is another example. Next one. Types of plagiarism we already mentioned. Just skip it. Okay, term paper mills. This is collectively known as term paper mills. That means you can buy papers from this website. These are collectively known as term paper mill. This is an academic fraud. Buying papers from term paper mills is academic fraud. Next one. Okay, these are examples of term paper mills. Then some headlines about plagiarism. The organizers will share the PPT with you. You can go through the headlines about plagiarism. So many examples are there. For example, in Delhi University, the VC was jailed for plagiarism. Then Pondicherry University, the VC was sacked. In Kerala, the former Kerala PVC was caught up in plagiarism. So many examples are there. So you please go through later after the session. Next one. This is an example from literature side. Young Harvard author's book deal cancelled. That of Kavya Vishwanathan. Next one. This is a history of that plagiarism. Please go through it later. Close this PPT. And the next image will be of two articles. A classic example of plagiarism. Our former scientific advisor to Prime Minister of India was caught up in a plagiarism row in 2012. The history is in 2011, Surajit Ghosh and his colleagues wrote a paper in a high impact journal. In 2012, CNR Rao and his PhD candidates wrote something in another high impact journal. Actually, 4 sentences were copied as such from the 2010 paper by PhD students of CNR Rao in 2012, and they were caught up in a plagiarism row. So, see, this is the image of that journal article, Advanced Materials. Could you please zoom it? Okay, fine. I have underlined the sentences. See, For large scale fabrication of graphene based devices, exfoliation of graphite into individual graphene sheets in large quantities is required. This actually appeared in Basant Sitara's paper of 2010, and I have underlined the second sentence also. Please take the next one, Rao 3. See, this is the article written by CNR Rao, then and his PhD candidates. See, the same sentences were repeated as such without giving citation, and they fell in plagiarism row. And actually, what happened is CNR Rao wrote to the editor of the journal that the article may be retracted, that is removed. That means even if it is a single sentence, you have to restate in your own words and you have to cite it. This is what CNR Rao episodes tell us. Okay, close it. This is all about text plagiarism detection. Text plagiarism detection. Actually, this Turnitin, Authenticate, Urkund, etc. can only detect text plagiarism. That means the similarity of text material in the manuscript you are submit. You are going to submit. You are about to submit. And the most recent advance in this area is citation-based plagiarism detection system, CitePlag. You may go to the site citeplag.org, citeplag.org. You can see examples of citation-based plagiarism detection system. Actually, how the citation-based plagiarism detection system works is, they look for similarities in the citations brought by an author, and the software will find a similarity between the citations copied, and it will generate a report. And if that similarity is high, it is considered as a plagiarized paper. Actually, a classic example for citation-based plagiarism detection system is the thesis of Karl Theodor zu Guttenberg, who was the defense minister of Germany. Actually, he copied an English thesis on Constitution of America and translated it into German, and he submitted the thesis to a university in Germany. He got awarded PhD, but later, using citation-based plagiarism detection system, it was found that his thesis was copied from an English thesis which was written about the Constitution of America, and the university revoked his PhD, and he was forced to resign from the post of Defense Minister of Germany. The same case is in the happened in the case of Education Minister of Germany, and her name is Annette Schumann. She submitted her thesis in 1918 in a university in Germany. In 2011 or something, some anonymous blogger wrote something in a blog that 60 passages were paraphrased by Annette Schumann and that were not cited in her thesis, and the university started an investigation. They found the allegation to be correct, and the university revoked her PhD. She was forced to resign, and it happened in 2013. And this is what I have to tell about plagiarism. It's a misconduct, serious academic fraud. The take-home message is, even if it is a single sentence, you have to read it, you have to understand it, and you have to retell in your own words. Even if it is a single sentence, you have to give the citation, the author date system or something, depending upon the style manual you are following. The third take-home message is, always aware about a style manual in your domain. Suppose you are from a language domain, you must know about MLA style manual. If you are from science domain, you should know something about Council of Scientific Editors style manual, or you are from chemical science, you should know American Chemical Society citation. If you are from social science, you should know something about APA citation, APA style manuals, etc. So these are the take-home messages I have to discuss with you. Sorry for the trouble with the internet problem here. You can ask doubts if any. And after we can take a break and continue with the remaining part of the publication ethics, that is falsification and fabrication. It's over to you.
Okay, sir.
Anyway, I have shared all the PPTs and materials with the organizers. They will mail it to you. Please go through that, and you can call me or mail me or WhatsApp me for any clarifications needed. I am happy to discuss all queries with you.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Maybe we can break for 5 minutes and we'll start the
Okay.
session. 5 minutes.
Okay, fine.
Okay, sir. Thank you.